Hi there, this is Ranjit, and in this video we'll be doing the full review for the Samsung Galaxy A8. And this Galaxy A8 is the flagship in the A series, and the thing with this A series is that the entire smartphone is made up of metal. And according to Samsung, this is the slimmest smartphone in their lineup, and it has a width of just 5.9 mm. And yes, it is slim, but it's not the slimmest in the world. Some other vendors have even slimmer phones, but this one has all the ports. For example, it has the headphone jack, etc. And I've already posted other videos on this Galaxy A8, like its camera review and its gaming review, so I won't go in depth over those aspects. And the thing to note is that the Galaxy A8 that is sold in India is not the Snapdragon 615 variant, but this one houses its Samsung's own Exynos processor. And before we proceed, let me give you a configuration overview. This Samsung Galaxy A8 is powered by the Exynos octa-core processor, and it's divided into two quad cores. The first high-performance quad core is clocked at 1.8 GHz. It's based on the ARM Cortex-A15 architecture, and the second quad core is based on the ARM Cortex-A7, and it's clocked at 1.3 GHz. It has 2 gigs of RAM, 32 gigs of internal storage. Regarding the screen, it's a 5.7-inch 1080p screen, which is a Super AMOLED screen. It's a dual SIM device with Nano-SIM. It also has a fingerprint scanner. And regarding the camera, the rear-facing camera is a 16 megapixel shooter with f1.9 lens. Moving towards the front-facing camera, it's a 5 megapixel shooter, and it also has 4G LTE support. Moving towards the battery, it has a 3050 milliamp hour battery, but the battery is sealed inside. And let's now move to the design. And as I already mentioned, the phone is really slim, and though it's a big phone, it sports a 5.7-inch screen, which is sadly just a HD screen. We are not finding Quad HD over here. Some of you have asked me to compare it with the Galaxy S6, but I would say yes, it has some features like the S6. For example, it has the fingerprint sensor, etc., and that works very well. But again, in terms of specs, it's a little bit different compared to the S6. I would say it's slightly watered down compared to the S6, but nevertheless, in terms of sleekness, I would say it's a very sleek phone. It's very slim, and it's also very easy to hold. In fact, I like this metallic finish. It gives a sort of a premium feel, I would say. Also, in terms of looks department, I do feel that it looks even better than the Galaxy Note 5. For example, this is the Galaxy Note 5, and I've been using this Galaxy Note 5 for the last week or so, but I feel after using the A8, the Galaxy Note 5 feels a little bit bulky. So in terms of the sleekness, I would say Samsung has done a very good job. And also, though it has a 5.7-inch screen, the weight distribution is really good, and it just weighs 151 grams. So it's easy to hold, and it's light. It does not weigh you down. Now, if we move to the TouchWiz, thankfully we are still getting the new TouchWiz version that we found on the S6 or the S6 Edge, and I would say it works very well on this one. And though it has just 2 gigabytes of RAM, but I felt in general day-to-day performance, as you can see, I have tons and tons of apps also in the multitasking tray. It runs it very well, and it runs it very fluidly. So in day-to-day performance, I would say the performance was very good. Also, it does have support for themes, so you can, if you don't like that cartoony TouchWiz icons, you can definitely change that. So it does have theme support, and it also has the theme support, so you can download additional themes. So in terms of the TouchWiz, I would say it runs it very well. Also, the good thing is that out of the box, it comes with Android version that is 5.1.1, that is Android Lollipop. So you are getting the latest version of Android out of the box. So that's a good thing. Also, again, one thing I like is that again, it's a dual SIM version, but again, it's not true dual SIM. You can either use the second SIM, but if you don't want to use the second SIM, you can swap it with a microSD card. We have storage expansion, and also in terms of internal storage, I'm happy to say that it has 32 gigabytes of internal storage. So in terms of storage, I did not have any issues. Now, when we move to the battery, initially I was really worried about the battery life, because it's a very slim device and the battery is sealed inside. It houses a 3050 milliamp hour battery, and I have to say the battery life that I was getting on this Galaxy A8 is very good. I would say it's much better than the S6, S6 Edge, or even for example, I would say it's better than the Note 5. In fact, I would say in my usage, I use this device almost for about 2 weeks as my primary phone, and I would say I was getting almost always over 5 hours of screen on time with my usage, and that is with about 24 hours away from the charger. So in terms of battery life, I was really happy with the Galaxy A8. In fact, I was really impressed because after a long time, I found a decent phone with good battery life, that is by Samsung. So in terms of battery life, the battery life that I was getting was very good. Now if we move to the camera, here I would say, again, some of you asked me to compare it with the S6, but I would say the camera is not that great as S6. For example, it does not have optical image stabilization, but it has a 16 megapixel sensor, and I would say the camera performance is really good in outdoor conditions, and also in artificial light it does a very good job if you compare it with most other smartphones in the price range around 30,000. So I would say the camera performance is really good, but again, in very low lighting conditions and in difficult artificial lighting conditions, yes, the camera does struggle up a little bit, but overall I would say the camera performance was nice. Also, when we move to the front facing camera, the front facing camera on this A8 is also very good. Now, if we move towards the gaming, I did play quite a few games, and I would say it handles casual games and mid-level heavy games without any issues. But in some heavy games, I did notice some frame drops. For example, in Asphalt, I did notice some frame drops at the high graphics setting. So for gaming also it's good, but I did notice some frame drops. But the good thing is that even with extended gaming, I did gaming for continuously for 20 odd minutes, and even after that, the handset did not heat up. It went till only 40.5 degrees Celsius. So in terms of heating, it does not heat up. And now let me actually divide this device between the pros and the cons. Let's first go over the pros. I've made a list. The first thing is regarding the storage. We get 32 gigabytes of internal storage, and also we have a micro SD card slot. So the storage is not an issue. Also, when it comes to the slimness and styling, I would say it's a very stylish device. If you're okay with this size, I would say it is having a 5.7 inch 1080p screen. Also, as I mentioned, it does not exhibit any overheating, so that's a plus point. Also, we do have the fingerprint sensor that we again saw with the S6. You don't have to do silly things like swipe, etc. Just place your finger and it unlocks. And so the fingerprint scanner is also very good on this A8. Also, as I have already mentioned regarding the battery life, I'm really happy with the battery life that I was getting on this one. It also, what do you say, some of you have asked, it does support USB OTG. And one more thing that I have noticed is that it also has FM radio support that the Galaxy S6 does not have. Now let's move on to the cons or some of the things that I do not like with the A8. The first thing is, as I mentioned, the camera performance is really good, but in terms of the video recording, I was not that happy with the video recording. I would say the video recording was too much shaky. So if you just move also a little bit, the video is very shaky to my liking. Also, it does not have any, what do you say, physical LED notification light. That is the only thing I missed. It has all the other sensors. Another thing I don't like with the A8 is the pricing. It's priced in India at around 32,000, and I just checked with online sites like Amazon and Flipkart, and it's retailing anywhere between 30,500 to 31,000. So I feel the pricing is slightly on the higher side. I would say Samsung should have been a little bit more aggressive with the pricing of the Galaxy A8, because we have other devices like the OnePlus 2, and also the Moto X style might come out. So I do feel that Samsung is still charging sort of a premium for the Galaxy A8. Also, another thing that I have noticed is that it does not support the Qualcomm quick charging too. The charging is not that slow, but I would have loved to see quick charging at this price point. And also, another thing that I have noticed is that for example, the S6 had the IR blaster, but this Galaxy A8 does not have the IR blaster. So as you can see, overall this Galaxy A8 does offer a lot. And for example, if you're looking for a very stylish phablet sort of a device, you can certainly have a look at the Samsung Galaxy A8. The only thing, as I mentioned, I don't like is the pricing. Samsung should have been a little bit more aggressive regarding the pricing, but I do like the slimness of this and also the battery life that I was getting on the Galaxy A8. Again, I have already posted other videos on the A8, like its gaming review and the camera review, so make sure you check them out. And if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. This is Ranjit, and I hope to see you in my next video.